Are you stuck between the question of whether you should sell your business or to keep it for a few more years? The answer to that question is really as simple. And on one hand, I've seen business owners who've kept their business for too long and seen their business plateau or even worse, decline in sales and profit. On the other hand, I've seen business owners who've kept their business and taken it to the next level. So in this video, I'll be showing you the 5 questions that you need to answer to consider what option is right for you. The first question to answer is that why are you considering to sell your business? Do you have a plan in place that can take your business from where it is right now to the next level, and does that energize you, or does that burn you out even further? Does the thought of that question give you energy or draw you down into a depressing situation? The answer to that question will give you a very good idea as what you need to do long term, because this question of whether you should sell your business or to keep it is something that's going to affect you for years to come. So if the answer is that you can put a plan in place and you've got energy with that plan to take it to the next level, then you should definitely keep your business. But even if you have a plan in place and that plan is actually sucking the life out of you, then potentially selling the business is the right option for you. Now, sometimes the answer to that question doesn't have to be selling the business completely. Can you take a holiday from your business and that then re-energizes you? Or can you work towards something called what I call an operational exit? An operational exit basically means that you're no longer working in the day-to-day of the business, and you've set up systems and structures that the business can continue to operate without you, and you only work on the most important things. 75% of all business owners are stuck in their businesses doing jobs that they don't want to do. And with all of the systems, technology, and AI that is available today, you don't need to do it. You don't need to hire someone to do a lot of these things for you, because that's an additional cost, a huge cost. And the labor market is costing more and more as time goes on. One of the most effective things that you can do is simply just eliminate tasks from your day. And once you've eliminated them, identify technologies and systems that you can put in place to take you out of the day-to-day. Now, does that give you more energy and more enthusiasm, or are you still not looking forward to the future? And if the answer is that after you've put all of the systems in place and after you've utilized all of the technology and potentially even hired someone to hand over and delegate some of the work that you're doing, if the answer still rises head in your mind that you want to sell the business, then definitely selling the business is on the cards and you should keep it on the table. Question number 2 is, what does the plan look like for you for the next 3 to 5 years? Not the plan for the business initially, but the plan for you. So everyone might have a business plan in place for the next 3 to 5 years, but do you see yourself as the owner executing it? And if you do, and that gives you the excitement that it did in earlier years when you were passionate about your business, then maybe you should continue in your business. And as long as that plan does have a real impact on profitability, because ultimately business is all about the profit that it can generate for the shareholders, the owner, yourself, then that might be something that you want to work on. But if you don't see yourself actually executing that plan, even if you have the plan in place, but you don't see yourself actually being energized by that and really working and grinding on that plan, then maybe that 3 to 5 year plan shouldn't be about growing your business. That 3 to 5 year plan should be about you executing that business. Because the best business exits can take 3 to 5 years to execute in place and ultimately sell the business. But when you own a business, you're in it, of course, to serve your customers and to give a good product and service experience to your customers, but ultimately you're in it to make an income for yourself. And one of the best things that you can achieve, or one of the biggest paydays that you can ever achieve in your life, is the sale of a business. So if owning the business over the next 3 to 5 years, even 10 years, for example, you can see that, right, I've got passion and I'm going to take an income from that business, that's good for you and it's giving you energy, maybe you should continue on that path. But if you feel as if my time would be better spent over the next 2, 3, 5 years in building this business so it can be a sellable business, so it can be a business that can be sold for a high business value, enterprise value, then maybe you should work on that. Because one of the things, when you are selling your business, you sell your business for a multiple of its profit. What does that mean? that if your business is making 250,000 in profit for you right now, there's a multiple which is applied to that. So instead of you waiting, for argument's sake, let's say that multiple is 5, instead of you waiting 5 years to make that over a 5 year period, make that same income, when you sell your business, then you can bring that 5 years of income onto one day on the day that you have sold your business. So do you want to wait 5 to 10 years and have an income over that period of time? Or does it sound better? Does it feel better? Is it better for you if you were to able to bring forward 5 years worth of income and take it all in one day? Now you might be thinking, why would I actually wait 5 years? Why don't I just take 5 years right now? It's whether the business continues to excite you or not. Because ultimately the passion of business and the business itself can excite business owners to let them keep it. I'm sure you've heard of the stories where someone was offered X amount of millions to sell their business, and they turned it down because they believed in the business. And look at those cases. Some of those business owners actually executed the plan and had a really good business at the end of it, and some of them failed across the way. So you really do need to make that choice for yourself, is that what do I want to do? What do you want to do? Do you want to bring forward some of that income today and call it a day and move on to something else? Or do you want to continue and push forward in business? Question number 3 is, has your business reached peak value? Now, how do you know whether your business has reached peak value? One of the easiest ways to do that is to just get a valuation on your business. So you can click the link in the description and we can have a confidential call about your business and how your business can look like if you were to sell it today. That's one of the easiest ways. Some of the other ways that you can see whether your business has reached peak value without speaking to an M&A advisor is, what is your growth trajectory looking like? Has your business been growing over the last 3 to 5 years in both revenue, gross profit, and overall profit as well? Because if it has been growing, then that means that your business is got a good valuation attached to it. The best valuations always happen when a business is growing. If your business, even if it's small growth, but obviously large growth is even better, but if you can see that your business has reached some sort of a plateau, then maybe it's time to sell your business as well. Because if your business is growing like that, then that's the best valuations. If your business is growing like that, like very slowly, but it's still on a growth trajectory, which might be considered a plateau, then you will still be able to sell your business and get good value for it. The worst, that you can sell your business if it's on a downward trend, but generally speaking, you're not going to be able to sell your business for a good amount of money. There's a discount which is applied to it. However, there are things that can be done in that case. When if you speak to an M&A advisor, then they'll be able to show you how you can get good value even for a business which is on a downward trend in terms of its revenue and profit. The other thing which you need to look at about your business is your industry in general. So if your industry is in a hot industry or an industry that is growing, it doesn't have to be in a hot industry, but as long as your industry isn't declining as a whole, then your business is still got value attached to it purely because of the industry that it's in. And if you're in B2B sales, the other thing you need to look at is not only your industry, but your customer mix. That, have you got a small number of large customers so that, for example, you've got customer concentration, or do you have a good mix of customers? If you've got a good mix of customers, then that will help you in your overall valuation. Is your business protected from AI disruption? Now, there's many businesses, or almost every business will be disrupted in some way by AI, but as long as your business is protected from complete destruction with AI, then your business is in a good industry and that can protect your overall business valuation. And the other thing is to check whether there are people out there who are buying businesses in your industry at the moment, because if that's the case, that can also drive up the price as well. It's got nothing to do with your business, it's got nothing to do with the industry in general, but if there are specific players which are out there and they're buying up businesses and your business kind of meets their criteria, then that is a good indicator that if you are thinking about this question of whether you should sell your business, you maybe should sell your business because there'll be someone there to buy it. Now, question number 4, which is linked to business valuation, is really important, and that is, how dependent is the business on you? If the business is dependent on you, then really you can't sell your business for a high valuation. So one of the things that you do need to do if you do want to sell your business is to make your business independent of you. I work with business owners all the time on something called an operational exit, on getting business owners out of the day-to-day, either in a CEO, pure CEO position, or in a shareholder position. They're the two positions that you want to be in, but you don't want to be involved in the day-to-day running of the business. So if the business is dependent on you, now this is one of the things that can actually help you answer the question, because what would happen, would you still want to sell your business if we were able to extract you out of the day-to-day running of the business and you sit above it and you oversee business operations and only do the highest value tasks in your business? Because does that give you your passion back regarding your business? Or if you're still thinking, I want to sell it, maybe that's a consideration. So if we were to extract you from the day-to-day running of the business, if you were to extract you out of your business completely and you're just there as the shareholder, then would you still want to sell your business? Now, to find out how dependent the business is on you right now, in the description, I've got something called the owner vacation test, 100% free to take part in. It's a few questions that you can answer, click on buttons to see how dependent the business is on you. And the answers to those questions will actually give you an indication of what the next steps are of what you can do to make yourself independent of the business. Regardless, whatever the case is that you need to ask yourself, is that how dependent is the business on me? And if it is dependent on you, there's two options. We extract you from the business and you keep it, or we extract you from the business and then we sell it, and then you can have the payday that you want and exit from the business. And question number 5, so important, maybe the most important question, is that what does your life look like after you've sold the business? I want to repeat that question again, because it's a question that a lot of business owners don't consider. Is that if you were to sell your business, then what does your life look like after that? Even if you were to have a huge windfall from your business exit, let's say, for example, you sell your business for 8 figures or even 9 figures in that case, then what would life look like? Because money is no longer a problem. What are you going to do? You need to consider what your next steps are after you've sold your business. Most of the business owners that I meet and they're selling their business are retirement cases. And that's fine because, of course, in retirement, you're kind of either winding down, you're doing a little bit more traveling and spending more time with your family. That's a kind of a different situation. But if you're still young, if you're under 60 years old and you want to sell your business, if you're under 40 years old, and many business owners right now who've built successful businesses in the 20s and 30s, if you sell your business, what are you going to do? Now, if you're really young, you're probably just going to start another business. 99% of the time, you're going to start another business. But you really do need to answer that question. Like, if you're in your 50s, then you're young enough to actually do something, but maybe you're old enough to actually take a step back, right? So what are you going to do if you do take a step back? You learn language, have a hobby, spend more time with family. Are you going to go traveling? One of the things that you do need to look at when you're selling your business is that if your business hasn't been prepared properly for sale, then many times the buyer is going to want you to stay on. Now, when we prepare business for sale with yourself, then we ensure that the buyer doesn't require you to stay on, because we structure it in a way that that question doesn't even come up at all. That's where you want to be. But let's say, for example, you sold the business and the buyer requires you to stay on. Are you willing to stay on after you've sold the business? One of the best ways to ensure that you don't have to stay on is to do that operational exit now, today. If you're watching this video, do the operational exit today. Whether you work with us or not, you need to get that done, right? And that will ensure that no buyers ask you to stay on. But regardless of the case, what happens after you sell your business, the day after? So ultimately, if you answer these 5 questions and all 5 answers lean towards, I would want to sell the business, it's not energizing me anymore. I have a plan and even the plan's not energizing me. And maybe I'm stuck in the day-to-day. Maybe I'm not stuck in the day-to-day. Maybe even if I exited myself from the day-to-day running of the business, I would still want to actually take the income and let someone else continue with the business, and I move on to do something else. And that's perfectly fine. But if one of those questions is keeping you in the business, then maybe the right answer is take a holiday, take a step back, Identify, do you want to reduce some of the days that you're doing? Do you want to completely exit the day to day and you continue to then own the business? That's also perfectly fine. Is the business at peak value or not? Are there people out there who want to buy your business? That question can be answered very easily. You just speak to an M&A advisor and they'll be able to tell you whether the people in your industry who are looking to buy a business like yours. And these questions don't need to be answered right now. You probably have thoughts during this video whether, the answer to question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you have a partner, if you have and I'm talking about a spouse, because when you're selling your business, it's a real personal decision. It can be a business decision if you're looking for an exit for money, if you're looking for that windfall of cash, or if you've been made an offer already, that could be a business decision. But ultimately, it's still a personal decision, because what are you going to do with yourself after you've sold your business? And if you've got people around you who can support you with coming up with those answers, then it's important that you do involve them in that conversation. Don't rush into selling your business first. Get yourself out of the day to day, then re-ask the question, do you still want to sell your business? And if the answer is yes, there's another video which is popping up. We talk about buying and selling businesses in every single video. So I hope you get value, and I'll see you in the next one.